They're both up all the way, and it doesn't look like they're clipping.
Okay,
I don't see any clipping.
I guess that's all that matters.
No? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I see it. If it's not clipping, then whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is episode 2. The smoke up, and then boom, the theme song starts playing.
Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up. Well, we toke up. Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up.
Did you hear about the fucking DeSantis ad that had pictures of Donald Trump and fucking Fauci? They had AI-generated pictures of Donald Trump and Fauci, along with real pictures of Donald Trump standing next to Fauci.
The Weeknd and Drake or some shit uploaded to Spotify, but it was AI.
I didn't know that.
And yeah,
I know there have been a lot of Drake fake songs that have been getting produced.
Yeah, there was a song that was like put on Spotify, it blew up, and then it became like this whole big thing because people are like,
we didn't make this.
Yeah, so it became like a copyright issue. Yeah.
I'm gonna have you make it.
Oh shit! I get the honors.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
the chore.
The chore.
The chore.
I
It's
don't know.
more of a chore.
Is it a chore?
When you have to make music for every media project, it becomes like a less exciting thing.
Yeah, but
But yeah, it'll be cool. Oh, we should smoke some weed.
we definitely. I
got
noticed
some weed to
we
smoke.
didn't smoke that much on the last episode.
No, we smoked like 2 bowls. I was ripped.
Well, I mean, we smoked a blunt too, but
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
maybe,
not like we have to. We don't have. It's just the fact that we have a very bad habit of every time we smoke, hang out to do stuff, we also get incredibly stoned and don't get as much done. So we're leveraging our weakness into a strength.
Yeah, well, it definitely helps doing it that way because we're just going to get really stoned either way. So if that's just kind of the thing, the theme of the podcast,
Yeah, then we're
whatever.
doing our job.
Yeah,
then
but
we're
this is
actually
literally
doing the thing.
we're working right now. This is
exactly.
work.
We found a way. We're playing the system. We found a way to make fun work.
Yeah.
Can you hand me your thing? I'll load it.
Let me cash that out real quick. Yeah, it's gross.
Oh, is it cash though?
Yeah, about.
Do you have a pokey?
Yeah. It's on the lighter.
Oh,
The pokey. Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, I think not only do we need to get your next music video done, we need to start working on getting all of them recorded in a live format, and at least one more music video for the EP.
Yeah, I had
But I mean, make this work. A year, we're done. On to the next thing. You know, like no more dilly dallying on a project for 3 or 4
Well, yeah, now
years,
this-
you know?
I mean, I'm almost done with my LP too at this point,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to move on. I'm
Yeah.
trying to move the fuck on.
That's why I think we should do, like, even if they come out a little bit amateurish, we should do live performances of all your other songs. We don't have to shoot all of them in one day. I mean, like, do them over the course of the next 6 months, and then by the time we're done with them, we'll probably have your music video done, and we can just move on to your LP, you know? But it'll give you some experience performing live in a way, I think.
Yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to make it a little more like what I was envisioning in my head is like when you see those like talk shows and they have the concert, you know.
Yeah.
Something
that's what I
kind of
meant to
like
put
that.
in your head, but I also think it should be like a little bit like well, not less than that, but like we should work with what we have initially and just do it, you know.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying is like what I was imagining is we could literally all we'd have to do is move this table out of here, make room, and then set up some cameras and some lights, and record like that way. You know what I mean? Record that way. Have me performing right here, in front of that wall.
That's why we got to get lights in here and get rid of that light.
But that and then there could be room for me to actually kind of walk around and like, you know.
And I think that, obviously, I think the first one would have just been like, just fun to be like, oh yeah, they had to like make do with what they had for the very first one and ended up looking like this. But 4, 5, 10 episodes later, the fourth time they do it, it's like has flashing lights and fucking Bradley's actually fucking nailing it, you know. Like I think that would be cool to like see the growth as like the podcast goes on, because you know a lot of people aren't going to be like watching the podcast, you know, like it'll be and then we could clip it and we could use the clip so you're performing on the podcast on your main channel, you know.
Yeah, well that's because like before I think it'd be cool
the way Donnie Glover, you know, he'll perform on Conan and then he'll put it on his YouTube channel, him performing on Conan.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so I would like to have
Conan. We don't need a Conan quality performance.
Yeah, know? But I just think it'd be cool to have a video on my channel. It says like, you know, in the title it says I'm performing live, and you see in the thumbnail it's like there's like lights and shit, fog. People are like, what the fuck? And they click on it and it's just like a little setup in the studio. Yeah. Like I think that would be dope. It would be really impressive for people to see that.
Yeah. But I think we also have to build it, you know. It's not like something we build it like I don't think it would be good if like we put months and months into making that like our first few ones. Because we'd miss out on showing the like us struggling, and it's kind of part of the like podcast, you know, part of showing people in their everyday like thing, you know.
Yeah. But again, like when it comes to this EP, I'm trying to move on too, you know. Like,
well, that's why I think we should make it like it'll be the worst season of it, you know. It'll be like you know, we get the lights, we put them on some color cycles. And I can flash them on and off for certain parts. But, you know, we just do that. And we do the best we could do with that. And then next season, we do a bunch of songs from your LP, but we have those smoke machines, since we're going to get that for the music video. And we have all that stuff going. And it shows us building. Because a lot of these people have parasocial relationships with the people they watch on YouTube. They care about watching that dumb shit, like, happen. You know, the little bits of growth in between, a person's first thing and a person's last thing, you know?
Yeah.
And even though it's embarrassing for us as artists, it's like catnip for an audience, you know? Like people will go back and watch this first and second episode just because they care about looking at it as it was when it was ghetto, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's just kind of where like the stage I'm at in my music in general too, is like, I don't have any fans. Nobody's listening to my shit. But like, eventually when I get there, people will look back and find it and be like, damn, that's what he was putting out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that I think they'll think it sucks, but they'll just hear it and be like, that's where he started.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, whoa, what the fuck?
And I think it would be, if we really start to nail you doing like cool rap live performances and even me doing them, it'll be cool for people to be like, I wonder how this looked when they first started doing it. And then being like, oh, wow, you know, like being able to go back and be like, yeah, they really came up from nothing there.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. That's really good. But I mean, we don't have to like try to do it this episode since it's already, but maybe maybe we can figure it out for the next episode.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about it.
I was thinking too, we could do covers.
I plan on doing hella covers, man. I already have
covers for our podcast.
Like
we
just
make
like
a
live
beat
on
together. Yeah, we make a beat together and then we rap the song. I think that would be cool.
But like covers of like
songs.
So we'll make a little beat live.
Yeah,
like look up the chords on Google or some shit. And just like,
look up the beat and then listen to it a few times and then look up the chords and then do that.
Yeah.
And then, like how we kind of used to get into that a little bit, but like what you did with handlebars. But we could do that with like Slob on My Knob. That would be really fun to be like, today we're doing a cover of Slob on My Knob, and that's the whole podcast subject, you know?
Yeah. Well, and before we even like really talked about doing a podcast, I thought it would be cool to do shit like that, just like making live music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, podcast format, but like one of us is sitting over there making a beat and the other sitting over here on the mic, just kind of like freestyling or whatever.
And I think because something I really like to do, I really want to do is a variety show, you know, and I think a podcast is the modern variety show if you let it be that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's what we should do. Like every like little mixed bag thing that we want to do, like random fucking thing that doesn't fit well into a thing, we could just do as a thing for our podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it would be as much as I think it would be fun to do a cover of Slob on My Knob, I would never do that on an album. I would only do that for fun, for an audience, you know?
I could see maybe doing it as a joke song, but it's hard to imagine that.
But it would be a lot more fun to show off to an audience that we're pretty good producers.
Yeah.
Being like, we made our own Slob on a Knob beat, and then we rapped it, and here it is, and then play it as the outro. We only do that every once in a while, you know. There's this really popular podcast called H3, and what they do is like they'll think of like special things to do for a podcast episode, and that's like the whole episode, you know. Like it'll be like a segment, but that's like the whole episode sort of revolves around that segment, you know. Yeah. I think that'd be pretty good. And like even with the rapping in front of the camera thing, like some of my favorite parts of the Chappelle show were when he was just sitting in the car with a fucking famous rapper and they were going at it, like when he was in the car with Mos Def and Mos Def's like rapping and Dave was just like doing this in the background. Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts of the Chappelle show. Because it's endearing, it's personal. People want to see someone who like otherwise has to be all polished. They want to see them with all their cracks out, you know? Yeah,
well, people like to see that you're human, especially in an increasingly less human society with AI and all that. You know, people can make a song that is even made by humans now. And so just that human touch is becoming increasingly more valuable as time goes on.
That's true.
And so I think like things like lo-fi, you know, like that's stuff like that is going to become a lot more popular because it's just so human.
Yeah, because only humans can have like that type of like.
It takes human creativity,
roughness.
To be like, let me purposely make this dissonant. Yeah. Let me distort this piano for no fucking reason. You know, like shit like that.
I mean, lo-fi might not be the best example because I imagine with AI instrumentals, that's probably the first thing they're going to do is like lo-fi beats, right? Like when you can type into a computer, I want a beat that sounds like Jay-Z, it's probably going to be like lo-fi, like how all of the AI pictures are low resolution images right now.
I think it'll be like low quality, so it'll kind
low
of
fidelity.
Yeah, like, I guess
but it won't have the kind of dissonance that a human-made song would, of course. But what I'm saying is the quality will be low enough to where someone can be like the first types of beats created by AI will probably be lo-fi beats.
I think it'll be obvious the difference, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you'll hear I mean, it's like looking at an AI generated image and comparing that to abstract art.
Yeah.
You know, like the difference is night and day. You can
Yeah.
tell which one was created by a human.
Yeah.
So,
Well, as long as you're not like, oh no, some people can tell.
well, yeah, and yeah, so
And it's hard to be too judgmental about it because I don't know, some people can't read right. Maybe it's the same type of thing, you know, like not being able to tell like whether something is has an artistic intent, you know.
Yeah, well, a lot of people can't tell when something is clearly a cartoon and stuff like that. So like I've seen so many like stupid CGI videos that'll come up on my news feed on social media. It'll be like the moon exploding or something, and there'll be some dumbass commenting, "Is this real?"
Did you hear about the fucking DeSantis ad that had pictures of Donald Trump hugging fucking Fauci? It had AI generated pictures of Donald Trump and Fauci hugging, along with real pictures of Donald Trump standing next to Fauci. So it looked like to trick old people into seeing it and thinking, oh my God, they're that close. He's actually hugging Fauci.
Yeah, and
It worked on people, but normal people saw that and was just like, this is fucked up.
Yeah, well, and yeah, that's something it's going to trick old people and maybe like, I don't know, like, do you think young people would be tricked by that? Or do you think it's something like if you're born into this world, you'll be like...
I'm sure there's a type of visual dyslexia that when you see an image, you can't fully comprehend it the same way normal people can.
Well, yeah.
So, and I think that'll always be a group of the population. It's probably more common than people think. Like just a large group of people who can't identify the difference between real and fake things, you know?
Yeah.
But...
Well, I think that's everybody to an extent too, you know, like because some things that are real look fake and some things that are fake look real. And in the age of like CGI and stuff, it's hard to tell sometimes. So I think everybody
kind of... Yeah, but AI is like, it's uncanny, you know? But some people can't tell that it's uncanny, you know? Like,
yeah.
Maybe I'm in like an echo chamber.
No, maybe. I think most people look at that and can tell something's off, but I don't know. I can imagine old people not knowing what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe like small children, like being confused. Like, what is up with this image? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to show you the DeSantis Donald Trump Fauci ad. All the letters and words and stuff were added on it by the people who were sharing it. Not the picture. The ad just had the picture and was talking over it. You know, talking about how Trump and Fauci are buddies, and how Trump was the reason Fauci had all this power, which is true. But also the pictures are insane. It's insane. But yeah, this is the type of shit we're dealing with. It's not even like hypothesizing about the future. This is just like it now. This is political campaigns using faked AI propaganda to attack each other.
We're in a real life episode of Black Mirror, man.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Fucking scary.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of I know you've heard of like the AI voice cloning.
Yeah.
But there have been reports recently of people getting calls from like, it'll be like your kid, like saying they've been kidnapped and they need ransom money.
So it's like the old email scam, but they're using voice now?
Yeah. So you'll get like a fucking call and it sounds like your kid or whoever, and they're in danger and they need ransom money.
How are they getting voice clones of normal people?
Fucking probably off the internet, man.
Like just someone talking, like you could just get
probably just
people talking.
I would imagine you would have to target somebody and just kind of like stalk them on the internet. Basically,
you would have to have at least an hour of someone.
You have to have a lot of samples, yeah. So I'm assuming like in these cases, I haven't looked at the specific cases, but I'm assuming it was somebody who had online presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, that's what it has to be.
But either
But
way,
then, like, that's pretty freaky. It's like,
it's horrifying.
I could like get Moist Critical's voice and fucking find his mom's number and just like ask her for money, you know? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
With
somebody
it's not
like
gonna
that
work every time, but
yeah, and it's just horrifying that that's the world we live in. That can happen to somebody.
yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
scary as fuck.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. it's a
wild.
scary world we live in.
I think it's what I mean. It's already wild that they can fucking do presidents and stuff like that, like, or any public figures. Like, they're fucking AI voice cloning is pretty on point already, and it's not an old technology. It's like fucking a few years old.
When did you hear that there was like a song? It was like The Weeknd and Drake or some shit uploaded to Spotify, but it was AI.
I didn't know that.
And
I know there have been a lot of Drake fake songs that have been getting produced.
Yeah, there was a song that was like put on Spotify, it blew up, and then it became like this whole big thing because people are like,
we're like, we didn't make this.
Yeah, so it became like a copyright issue, but they're like, well, at the same time, like, it's a completely original song and it's not using your voice.
Yeah.
It just sounds like your voice.
Yeah.
Like,
so technically,
the only crime was using your name.
Yeah.
Like,
but also at the same time, I mean, it's fed
I don't
with
know.
their lyrics to produce one of the, like, a song that's like one of their songs, you know, like, in order to produce The Weeknd song, they have to look at all of The Weeknd's lyrics to make a good guess as to what The Weeknd would say.
yeah, but that result isn't copyright. You know what I mean?
But also at the same time, if it's just fed by, it becomes a point where if it's recycling your original intellectual like property, then it is plagiarism. That's why AI is like so like controversial right now. Is like, even when you give AI a prompt to imitate an artist, the reason why they're able to imitate that artist is by taking that artist's style and just mixing it around within their algorithm.
Yeah, but that's taking inspiration though. So if you think about it, the human equivalence is if you looking at paintings, and using that to help your style.
But the difference would be is that there is a third person. There is someone inputting in that. There's no input other than that person's work when you do AI. You know, the AI doesn't have its own style, its own spin that it's giving to it. That's why it's like,
it kind of does though. Isn't AI art a pretty distinct style?
No,
it kind of is. Like, you see it and you're like, that's AI art.
That's like saying the static on the television is its own style.
No.
Like, yeah.
Because that's not taking inspiration from images and making art out of it purposefully. That's I don't even know how that's even slightly a comparison.
Because it's just producing an image based off data that's being given to it. Just like, I mean...
That's just random... That's white noise. That's not even the same. What AI is doing is it's looking at images, right?
Yeah, and it's literally taking them.
It's not stealing them. It's not taking bits of images and piecing them together. It's taking inspiration from them.
Not necessarily. No, that's I think you're giving it too much credit when you say it's taking inspiration, because it isn't taking inspiration. It's literally taking everything it was given and reconstructing it. That's not inspiration. That's like impossible for a human to do. You know?
I think it depends, because I feel like what you're describing is when you like take an image and you have the AI recreate that image. But if you just like do a word prompt and you have the AI create an image, it's looking at other images and taking inspiration from that. It's not piecing pieces together from other images and like copying and pasting. It's taking your word prompt. You type in like a turtle surfing on a dolphin, right? And it's going to look at pictures of turtles and dolphins and water.
Photographs that were taken by people.
It's not going to take those and copy and paste pieces. It's going to take those and be like, okay, this is what a turtle looks like. This is what a dolphin looks like. This is what water looks like. And then create an image out of that. That's the same thing you do as an artist, as a human. When you look at images, you're like, okay, I'm going to paint a mountain and some trees and stuff. And you look at what a mountain looks like and some trees, and then you paint that. That's what it's doing.
No, I don't think so. I think that's bullshit.
So what is it doing then? If you think it's copying and pasting from other images?
Yeah, it's like taking not only like, because it's not looking at, okay, when an AI thing is given pictures of Charizard, it isn't seeing a dragon. You know, it's seeing the lines, the colors of the lines, where they are composited in the image. And it's reconstructing that based on what it's given.
But it also has context of what those lines mean to each other. That's how it's able to create images like that from different angles that kind of look like the same thing. If it was just recreating lines, then it would just paste the same image. I think you're not giving it enough credit, man. It understands when you give it a picture of Charizard.
Saying words like inspiration and understand, you're giving it too much credit because that's not what's happening. It doesn't understand anything.
I'm using those words because I don't have a word to describe that when it comes to a machine. I'm using human equivalent words. I know it's not actually thinking. It's not like conscious. I understand that.
That's what I'm saying. It's inaccurate to say that there's any type of third input going on. It's literally taking the stuff and adding. There are people who talk about this that are smarter than me when it comes to AI stuff, and like that's what they say is happening. They explicitly say it's a problem that they're used to create art because there's no telling where the sourcing is coming from. You know, there's no detecting whether something is plagiarizing or something, because it could be as small as, you know, the color of the wraith is what they're plagiarizing for their ICP Joker's card image. Do they own that image if nothing else was added by the author of the image, and it's just taking all of these random bits and fucking spitting them back out on a different thing to resemble something that it thinks you want? You know, that's wholly different than it being inspired by a work and creating its own version, you know? And that's where something becomes your intellectual property, is when you put an idea in when it's like your idea.
So what about ChatGPT then? Because I feel like this is just the word version. I mean, it's the same concept, right? So with ChatGPT, I've fucked around with ChatGPT, and it's fucking weird, man. I did this like 3 or 4 times. I asked it to give me an original idea for a new ICP Joker card.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite get, like, it kept on putting the word Joker in the name, but it definitely understood the concept of a Joker card and what it is. Yeah. It gave me like 3 or 4 different concepts of like, okay, this is what it is.
What the album will sound like. And
this is what they'll talk about. This is what it's going to like be about. This is what it's going to symbolize. It understood, dude. But it's not pulling that from the internet. Nobody else came up with that.
But exactly, that's where you're having a misunderstanding, because with the text, it's actually even easier to understand, and I've heard people describe it, it's not artificial intelligence, it's language modeling. So they're creating everything in a structure that language works in, with the words put together. And so it analyzes all this information. It's like, okay, so the way to, it has like formulas and shit in it that takes the stuff and it describes it back to you in a way that's supposed to simulate our language. You know, it's supposed to model the way we speak more than model our understanding of things.
But if I'm giving it a very simple prompt, and it's looking at the internet hive mind to find out, okay, what is an ICP Joker card?
Well, and it's looking at
and
pictures,
then it's giving me
translating those pictures,
and it's giving me something completely original that fits the theme.
Yeah.
So there is a level of understanding of what a Joker's card is. I know the word understanding is incorrect.
But that's the thing. It's important to have a distinction when it comes to.
But what is it doing if it's not doing something like understanding? Because that's not just language.
It's modeling its own version of the format of a Joker's card from its analysis. So it looks at a Joker's card. It has all these aspects of it. It recreates those aspects without imitating them, and then it basically spits it back out on like in the same format that the Joker's card comes as. So it's like if a Joker's card is a symbol that looks like something, has an album that sounds like something where they talk about subjects, then by that logic, it has to be a product that looks like something has these.
You're
things.
using similar words though, by using words like logic. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
that
we're
implies an
talking
understanding.
algorithms, not understanding, but pre-made mathematical algorithms that they put into the chat GPU. You know, chat. Is it GPU? It's not
GPT.
GPT. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're arguing semantics here at this point, but it's doing
But
something
semantics,
very.
that means the world when it comes to, because they're trying to market this shit like they're getting closer to creating like artificial minds. You know, that's why they're using the marketing term AI, but it's just a marketing term, and it has the limitations we see with it right now are the limitations of the technology, and people won't realize it for a little bit, but that's just the truth of it, and they can refine it as much as they can, but you're never going to get like something that competently recreates stuff without the input of a person, because they're just trying to remodel how things already exist, you know, and you'll never get like an original idea through it. And then also things that will always be kind of unsettling because it doesn't have the input of a person to level out the output to figure out whether it's a fucking nightmare or not.
And what else is funny is somebody mentioned this, and it kind of blew my mind because I don't know how I didn't think of this before. Is how like AI images and stuff like that. It's becoming very popular, very common. People are just throwing this shit out left and right.
Yeah.
So I guess now it's getting to a point where when you try to use like an AI image generator, it's now pulling from other AI generated images for its inspiration. So it's
kind of muddying itself at that point, you know?
So the more people use this shit, the worse it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Yeah. Well, the only way it'll get better is if you get proprietary systems where like an artist, because they're going to have to figure out the law for this. And America really likes its intellectual property laws. So I'm assuming they're going to side with the people who are having their art taken against the AI companies. And it'll probably be a thing where like you can't trademark anything that isn't proprietary. So like if you're an artist and you have your own proprietary AI thing, modeler, you can create your own trademarked art through it by giving it your input. But once you give it something else's input, it's not proprietary anymore. You know, it'll probably have to be something like that before you could actually trademark it and like profit exclusively off of something that like an AI movie made with other movies is just inherently a fucking mess when it comes to copyright law. You can't, like, there's no way to fucking rectify it because it's made with other movies. It's not made because someone thought of it from watching other movies. It's literally made with the other movies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes like...
And in law, we don't have anything like that. We don't have magical third forces that can make things poof up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's never... Fucking wizards were never a part of fucking law, and now we have a fucking wizard on our computer.
Basically, yeah. It's wild. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can get pretty far with AI. You can get pretty far. You could probably generate a competent album at this point, as long as you were a decent music producer. You know, that's all you'd have to be. Like, a decent music producer.
Well, some of the songs I've heard, like, using, like, Eminem's voice or whatever, you know, it's pretty wild how, like, some of them you can tell it's like, that's not really him. But some of them, it's like, yo, that just sounds like he's
But I don't even mean that. I mean, like, someone can pretty confidently probably create their own, you know.
Yeah, well, and I was going to...
Just fucking AI music at this point, you know.
But I was going to say, like,
artist, you know.
Like, it kind of changes the way you can do music now, because you can just take your own voice samples and make raps and shit out of that now. You don't even have to be a good rapper. You can just take voice samples of you, like, rapping.
We create our own language models of ourselves.
Yeah, and then use that for the rest of your music. You could just do it that way, and people might not even be able to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but it's an option now. And that's wild.
Well, and I even like for the layman, like there's it's this AI program I was looking at that I didn't decide to pull the trigger on because I don't want to fucking. I'm trying to get good at actually like recording scripts, not find AI ways to make myself competent seeming without actually getting better at it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to practice on video. But there's this AI thing that lets you fucking it'll create an AI model of your voice, and if you fuck up words in it, like words in a script, you can just delete the word like you're typing and retype in a word, and it'll be your voice saying the word. And it just exists. It's something I could have got, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's similar to I know there's an AI tool that for like similar kind of shit. Like if you make videos and where you look at the camera and that's your style of video, you're looking at the camera all the time, just talking to the camera. There's an AI tool that can correct your eyes to still be looking at the camera. So if you look down at your script or whatever, that's wild. Like,
that's a little freaky. Though,
it's
right?
freaky,
It's
yeah.
a little freaky.
Well, and they use similar technology in movies now.
Yeah.
For like different language settings, the AI changes the so that the mouth fits.
Tracking?
Yeah.
They do that for movies now?
I don't know if they have movies that are like that now, but I know they have that technology now for like movies. I've seen it.
Well, I wouldn't doubt if like Avengers in China was like that.
Yeah, it probably. Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried to look at like
a
newer
dub
movie
it and everything. Like it's probably not subtitled for an audience like China. They probably have a full dub cast.
Yeah. You just AI correct everybody's mouths and It's crazy, man, and it's cool. It's really cool, but it's scary in some ways, in certain areas with some things,
Yeah,
and it's really lame with certain things, like just the AI images and shit. It's cool, but like it became so lame so quick.
Yeah,
and
it's messy.
Yeah, it's really messy.
Even like CAPTCHAs. Have you like got a CAPTCHA yet? And they show those little AI images of things.
No, what?
Oh my god, I'm gonna have.
I still just get the street signs and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to show you during our next episode. Like, send them, make a better. Because I was gonna plan, but last night I was so tired that I didn't plan for today. But make a. I have screenshots of them, and it's like straight up AI ducks and AI. Like it's like choose the animals, and it's like a fucking AI possum, but it's like, is that really an animal? Nothing looks right. It's all quirky and weird and unsettling. And they're using it for CAPTCHAs now.
It's like it's for robots to pass.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, well, the only thing that defeats the purpose. These for these things are a fucking robot.
Only a robot would see the AI image of a fucking like possum with 3 legs.
And
2
it's like
heads.
shit like that. They're like weird. It's like choose the desserts, and some of them are like cups of coffee, and some of them are just like, it's like a weird roll of like cream on a plate, and it's like, I guess that's a dessert.
Maybe.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you got to show me that. That's
wild.
Episode. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. But I guess we should probably change the subject. We talked about AI for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit in the last episode too.
Yeah. Well, AI is gonna be our.
It's gonna be a pretty common topic, and it's there's gonna be more and more to talk about.
We should do in the 4th episode in a few weeks from now. We should do like an AI thing. We should do something with AI. Fuck it.
Like create something with AI.
Create something.
That'd be cool. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I'm down.
So it's the 4th of July. You know, bottle rockets are illegal in Colorado.
Guess that makes sense.
Anything that leaves the ground is illegal.
Yeah. I think I've heard that actually. Yeah.
How come they always do the fireworks shows? Wouldn't that be illegal?
Well, it's something that the government does. I mean, I guess. I mean, I know the fire department is usually there
Yeah.
doing that. So it's like,
Weird.
I don't know. I guess because it's controlled and it's for a holiday.
Well, we haven't had that many fires this year. How many fires have we had compared to last year? I don't know if I'm going to find any accurate information this way. Yeah, we haven't had any big fires this year.
No.
Last year we had one big fire. And the year before we had one big fire, and then the year before that there were a bunch. Holy shit, there were a shit ton. In 2020 there was like 7 huge fires on here. Last year wasn't bad. But I feel like there were still. No, I guess last year wasn't that bad of fires.
I don't know. There's always fires every year, so it's hard to tell if it's a bad year or not.
Yeah, well, I was just reading. I guess we had 4,000 every year. Like so,
Yeah.
5,000 wildfires are reported in Colorado each year. So I don't really.
Yeah, there's always. I'm always hearing about there being a fire in Colorado, and there's always smoke. Every summer, there's smoke covering the sky at some point, either from Colorado or like drifting in from another state somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. It's always happening.
Yeah, there's a smoke map. Look at how many fires are in Colorado right now. Oh, holy shit. There are no fires near us right now.
No.
No, looks like there's one in Trinidad. There are 2 little red dots in Pueblo, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, but we're pretty far from any fire. There's one in Aztec, New Mexico. It's unfortunate. But we're safe. I was watching some car wreck footage. It's my latest video that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really bummed really quick. And I've been having intrusive car wreck thoughts in my mind.
It's scary, man.
Yeah,
And,
car wrecks are fucking terrifying.
I feel like people don't give cars enough credit as like being extremely dangerous. Like, I don't know, people drive every day, and I feel like most people aren't like afraid at all, and they probably should be, you know, because there's some dumbass drivers on the road.
I'm gonna check the cams real quick.
All right.
But yeah, people should absolutely be more scared about driving. Oh yeah, everything looks good. Actually, everything looks great right now.
Sound's still going. So
This is actually going way better than last time.
Last time, I mean, it worked out, but
I'm pretty thirsty though. Is there any way to get like a big cup of water?
yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah!
I'll be right back.
Then we'll talk more about car accidents.
All right.
Yeah. Yep, so I'm going to vamp for a little bit while Bradley's getting me some water. I have my weed right here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not very good at vamping. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's perfect, actually.
Yeah. It's like the biggest cup we got.
Oh, that's so fucking good. That's so fucking good. Oh. Yeah, so we're talking about how I had to watch a whole bunch of car wreck videos for the most recent YouTube video I'm making. And it's like traumatic watching that shit. And people just don't take driving seriously enough, you know. Right, Bradley?
Yeah, they do not. Definitely not.
Like there are videos of this one guy. I really hope it was an adult, but it really looked like his daughter or something. Just gets thrown from his car. And so does he. Like they both he hits a car head on and then they both get thrown from it as it spins. And she gets thrown right under the car that hits them and it runs her completely fucking over. And she's laying there in pain with her arms up and he goes to try to help her, but I don't know. That one fucking ended up. I was reading all the stats and it's like a 70% chance that if you get ejected from your car, you fucking die. And so I watched enough videos that statistically at least 3 or 4 of them died. I've watched at least a few people die doing fucking research for this stupid video.
I think it's wild how many videos you can find of people dying online, but you don't see them dead, so it just gets shared around, you know.
Right.
But then
it was just a viral videos YouTube channel that had most of the fucking people being ejected from their cars. It's pretty dark.
It's wild. Yeah.
If the caption was these people's days did not go how they expected or some shit like that. It's like, Jesus Christ. There was one of somebody, I didn't even use it in the video because I watched it and I was like, okay, I'm done. But they got thrown above all of the traffic that it hit and the car flipped and threw them above everything, at least 20 feet in the air. They were just fucking ragdolling in the sky. It was fucking insane. Wear your seatbelt, people.
It's like when you hit somebody in Grand Theft Auto and they just kind of go flipping in the air. Like that shit.
Yeah, I saw one of those and I was like, that person is done.
Yeah,
I'm done watching this.
No.
That person definitely fucking died, and I'm here to just make a video about seatbelts. I don't.
Yeah. It happens every day, though, all the time. And people, I don't know, people don't act like that might happen every time they get in a car. I'm always a little anxious whenever I get in a car.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to drive because I was freaked out by that. But there's no public transportation here.
I think there should be public transportation everywhere.
Everywhere. From every city to every city, within every city.
Yeah.
Replace highways with a giant train.
Train straight up though. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool as fuck. I don't even care if the train takes a week to get anywhere. It would just still be cool to have. That'd be fucking awesome. The company that convinced the government to do that would become so wealthy. And it's just none of them give a shit.
Yeah.
They could be like the new railroad barons. Which Joker's card is that? That looks like an AI Joker's card. Which one's that?
They're not Joker's cards.
Oh.
Oh, that's just that's Lazy and Crazy. Shaggy the Airheads clothing brand. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of cool designs like that.
No, it reminds me of Joker's card.
Yeah,
like
like
the
it's like if you mixed like Joker's cards with like
And
Disney.
actually, that is the Wraith. It's got yellow hands and red robe. It's the Wraith as far as I'm concerned.
It's actually it's a character from Mario. Pretty
Really?
sure, yeah.
And he like stole it.
I think so. Because I was wearing a hat with the logo all over it, and my sister was like, "Isn't that from Mario?" And I was like, "What?" And I looked it up. And yeah, it's very similar.
What if he bit both of them? It looks a lot like the Wraith. Like looking at the Wraith on your arm and that on your head, it looks like the same. I could mistake that for being the same character.
I mean,
Show the camera the Wraith on your arm along with it. Yeah. Compare them, crowd. You in the comments. Sound off in the comments.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some inspiration there. I mean, I would not be out of the realms of possibility.
You know how to use Google Drive, right?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. I mean, I use it for some things. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know much else other than just like, I can save shit on there.
Yeah, I guess that's probably app talk for after the podcast.
Yeah.
Talk for after.
Nobody wants to hear about Google Drive. Nobody cares about Google Drive.
So, see if this will connect again. Let's try this again. Where are my eye drops? So I started using eye drops because like they make your eyes feel better when you're stoned.
They just make them feel better.
Yeah.
Is that why some people do that? There's
Yeah.
some people that they'll just use eye drops when you smoke around them, and I'm like,
I know some people use it to conceal the shit, but it actually makes
Yeah,
your eyes feel better.
yeah, back in like high school, but like I've done this, I've smoked around adults.
Yeah.
Just like use eye drops afterwards. I'm like,
Yeah.
the fuck? We ain't in school.
Makes your eyes feel better.
It doesn't make sense.
Makes my eyes feel better at least. Fuck is it?
What are you looking for?
My eye drops.
Oh yeah. That's what I was
Ah! I was being a goofer at I was at a barbecue, my brother's house.
yeah, you're being a goofer. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Erica was just trying to like touch me. I was just like, get off me! Like every time she did it. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She get offended.
No, she thought I was being dumb.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Imagine she was like, you're fucking stupid. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But it was pretty funny. I think the kids liked it.
Yeah.
The little kids.
Yeah, you had fun at your barbecue.
Yeah. I mean, I just ate some food.
Just ate some barbecue food.
Yeah. Hamburgers. Oh, here it is.
There you go. It's exactly where you would expect it to be.
Yeah. Well, I expected it to be in my pocket.
Well, if it's not in your pocket, then it's going to be like right next to you, right under you.
Okay. I gotta use this so I know where my eyes are.
You don't know where your eyes are?
Well, I always get it like I drip it down my face if I don't see my eyes. I'm about to do it anyway. Damn it.
It's because you
Shut up.
Got to tilt your head back.
Leave me
bro.
alone.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Just goes into sleep, like screen rest mode. Yeah, it's You get it?
That's a double hug.
Get your eyes?
Yeah, I think
Nice
that'll help
and
a lot.
lubricated.
You know, what I've been doing is every time YouTube suggests like a podcast that has like 50 views or less after the first day, after like the first couple days, I fucking follow that shit. I'm like, yeah, I want to listen to all these podcasts that have nobody listening to.
Just because you relate.
No, because I'm trying to create a positive karma cycle. No,
with
but also, yeah,
with people that you feel you can relate to.
I don't know. I just kind of do it.
No, I get it.
I follow it so I can listen to it later and see if I do relate to it, because I might not. But I don't have to relate to everything I listen to. Sometimes it's interesting to listen to some people who just have different opinions, as long as they're not awful opinions.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about podcasts is it's like you're just a part of the conversation. Like, you know, somebody like me, who usually when I'm in a group conversation, I'm not talking anyway. I'm just listening to everybody else. So when I listen to a podcast, it just feels the same, like to me. Yeah, it's like when I'm just hanging out with a group of friends. It feels exactly the fucking same because I'm not talking usually either way. I'm just listening. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what perforated network means. Chromebooks are so shit.
Yeah, this computer is whack.
It's worse than the computer that's like 10 years older than it.
Kind of reminds me of those old like gold computers we would get in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, it's worse than those because those weren't.
No, those were like actually like decent computers.
Yeah, they were just kind of tiny.
I didn't you have Fruity Loops on one of them?
Yeah. I shouldn't have turned them in because I knew people who did it and never got in trouble, or the computers never got deactivated either. It was just a bluff the whole time.
They probably wouldn't have lasted too long. Or maybe they would have lasted forever.
Yeah, maybe it's had it. The computer's almost as old as when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, this old computer. It's very old.
See, it's cool because like there's still an illusion that the studio is bigger than it is.
Is it? Does it look big on the computers? I mean, on the cameras?
Yeah, because you don't know how big the studio actually is, you know?
Yeah.
Man, if we have a camera space that way too, still don't know.
Yeah.
Because all the space, we'll keep these as the two invisible walls.
The third and fourth wall.
Yeah, the third and fourth wall. They don't really exist, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess this wall has to exist because I'm trying.
Yeah.
So that's important.
That didn't make any sense. Yeah. It's the wall behind you. So it definitely has to exist.
But they don't know how big this wall is.
They don't know how far it extends.
Yeah. They know how far it extends this way.
This room could be like a whole hallway long, for all you know. That way.
Yeah.
You could just.
It is actually.
Yeah, this room is fucking huge.
Oh, my eyes burn.
Your eyes burn? Why? Just put in the wrong eye drops?
I think sweat might have got in my eyes when I put in the eye drops. Oh gosh.
Should roll a blunt.
Do tissues. Tissues is tissues.
Yeah, tissues.
It's cool. It's a smart setup. You got there.
Yeah.
You didn't know one of us would be crying tonight.
I knew somebody would end up crying, so I had the tissues ready. Somebody's always going to cry on this show. It's just how it goes.
I was watching the movie Soylent Green last night.
Oh yeah, is it good?
Well, it's really boring, but I was really tired too. I can usually watch boring movies, but I was really tired. I kept falling asleep.
I can't watch boring movies, man. Even if it's like a really
And-
interesting concept.
Well, and I already know the twist, and it's supposed to be the whole twist. The fact that Soylent Green is people is the whole twist of the movie.
And it's like the meme of the movie too.
Yeah.
So you already know the movie before
Yeah.
you've seen it.
Yeah, because they lead up to it the whole time, but you watch it and it's supposed to be like actually like a really interesting twist. And when I'm watching it, I have to like put it in my mind and understand that this would have been interesting. Somebody who hadn't already had it spoiled.
You know Soylent, like the actual Soylent
Yeah.
company. They had a Soylent Green
Yeah.
product,
Yeah.
and they were totally advertising it with the like with the movie.
Well,
Like,
because the funny thing about the movie is Soylent is just the name of the company, and Soylent Green is the single product
yeah,
in
So-
the movie.
a company in real life named Soylent
Yeah.
came out with a product named Soylent Green and
Yeah.
was advertising it as
Yeah.
possibly having people in it.
Yeah.
And oh man, that's wild. That's
The
wild.
fucked up thing about, like, I got to a point in Soylent Green though, it was pretty fucked up. Like there were these people who were protesting. They were like rioting or protesting or whatever, something like that. And there were these fucking trucks. They were like mobile riot control or something like that. And they were fucking these big ass trucks, like dump trucks, that scooped up people and just dumped the people into the back of the dump truck. And it was like all practical effects. So these were like grown men getting scooped up by a dump
Oh,
truck
man.
by like the scoopful and
Oh,
dropped into
shit.
the back of the fucking truck. And like you heard them thudding. It was like just fucked up. And yeah, it was a pretty twisted practical effect, and I think it's supposed to be the part of the film where it starts to peak and like reveal that those people who were rioting got put in the riot control cars and then are going to get made into Soylent Green.
Yeah, it's a movie I've always been interested in watching, but I never expected much of it as like an actual movie.
It's just really it's slow because it's supposed to be building suspense, but a 60s horror dystopia sci-fi movie building suspense just really feels like a slog.
Yeah,
It just really feels like they're just really taking their fucking time.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I got a really short attention span. Like a movie's got to keep my attention, even if I really like the concept. If it's just like slow and boring, I'm gonna space out and I'm gonna miss all the important dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna daydream during the important scenes. You know what I mean? Like I do that during movies I like. So if it's a movie that I don't like or it's not really keeping my interest, yeah, I'm gonna leave that movie not knowing what happened, not remembering anything.
Yeah, I think Soylent Green might have been really good the very first time people saw it in theaters.
Probably, and for the time, I'm sure it was like.
I can see how it would have been
You know.
terrifying for the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's placed in 2022. too.
I know, yeah, and yeah, that was the other part. Yeah, that was at 2022 when Soylent did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot that part. Yeah, so that was last year that they had they put out a product called Soylent Green, and I don't remember what they were saying, but they had like on the website and on their ads they were like using lines from the movie and shit. Like it was crazy, man. People were like, "What the fuck? You can't possibly be doing that."
Because it's supposed to be bad. It's supposed to be like a dystopian thing, not like a fun, silly joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's so fucked up actually. Like when you think about it in the context of the movie, what the company is doing is actually incredibly fucked up. Because the whole concept of the movie is how people have been like separated from like normal food and normal like natural things, and we have everything in like pill and powder form, and so all food is like this really wretched green crackers, which is Soylent Green, and it's like the Soylent companies who like makes all the food, and it's all these powders and crackers and pills that are just shit.
Yeah.
And fucking like there's a main character who's a cop, and he's like corrupt because he's like robbing people for like their nice food to give it to his like older friend who seems like a father figure. And it's just thoroughly fucked up. Which weed are you using here? Anyone?
I haven't touched that rhombus yet.
Okay.
I haven't touched it at all, so let's try that one. And
But yeah, it's about like them basically trying to feed people slop, and like their bare necessities, like food is given out as rations. It's just really weird. And so Soylent is like that exact type of company that it is in the movie. You know, it's not, there's no irony or anything there. It's the exact type of company that it is in the movie, creating like this one singular meal shake thing that you're just supposed to like take down, and it's supposed to be like a whole meal and sustain you, and be like plant fiber based. It's all like it's like exactly what Soylent is supposed to be.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of wild. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I drink Soylent, but like,
yeah, I've had it before too.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that the concept behind the movie is reactionary. I don't agree with the political message that like food shouldn't be like made in a way that's efficient to any degree. You know, like I don't think we need things.
Yeah, I think it has a message, but it's very reactionary.
Yeah.
Like obviously, we don't want to live in that world where that's our food.
Yeah,
but having that as an option isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it was probably just a reactionary message about soy at the time. You know, like
yeah, and yeah, that's people are weird about that one.
Yeah, people are still worried about soy.
Well, people like I don't understand, because there's this whole like idea of a soy boy. You know, like, oh, you eat too much soy.
Which is based on pseudoscience, basically.
Well, it's obvious nonsense, because what? So you drink milk all the time that has estrogen in it. You're saying that soy is going to raise the estrogen levels in people, but you're drinking the people who say that most likely drink a lot of milk. You know what I mean? And like consume a lot of animal products in general. That's why they're so against soy most of the time.
But I mean, either way, fucking.
It's just hilarious to me, because
if milk could make you into a girl, either way, like it would be a lot more noticeable than people's like it would.
Well, my point is, if soy was doing that, then milk would too.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah,
and milk would do it worse.
Yeah.
So,
but also like trans people wouldn't have to like fight for their health care if they could just drink soy milk and get titties and shit. You know, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. There are men with raised estrogen levels. That has nothing to do with soy. Maybe I'm sure you could find men that eat a lot of soy with that problem, and men who eat no soy.
And honestly, like the ideal man in like a media sense, like with beauty standards involved and stuff, like one big side effect of having higher than normal testosterone is balding. You know, and balding isn't usually seen as like alpha male feature. You know, they need to have like a full head of strong hair.
Well, think about it, when it comes to like the societal norm of what an attractive man is, a lot of those characteristics come from not having high testosterone levels.
Yeah. Well, at least that one. What else?
Well, I mean, just like not being too hairy,
Yeah.
things like that. Just a lot of the same beauty standards for women apply to men too,
Yeah.
if you think about it. So I don't know.
Hair is just like a disliked thing.
It is. It's seen as animalistic.
Even the
I
fact
think-
that like Manscaped like is so popular with like normie like internet dudes like Anthony fucking whatever his name, Whiskey Ginger, the guy from Dave.
No.
Yeah. What podcasts do you listen to?
I mean,
Let's break it down. I'll share. You share.
I don't really listen to a whole lot of
Like
podcasts.
YouTube channel shows. What YouTubers are you into?
I look at a lot of random nerd channels, like gaming channels and shit like that. So I watch a lot of the popular ones, like Some Ordinary Gamers and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
a lot of my algorithm leads me to a lot of random bullshit.
Yeah.
So
I can see
I
that.
don't spend a lot of time on any specific channels a lot of the time, as I do just jumping around videos. But
Like you just see an interesting topic in the suggested area, and that's how you get.
usually,
videos.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I find a lot of channels like that actually. But
I find some cool things that way too.
yeah, I mean,
I found a really interesting video about fucking like talking about the meerkats from Lion King and Lion King 1.5, and how they really seem like a metaphor for Jews and not a very positive metaphor. And it was like when I first saw the video thumbnail, I was like, what the fuck? No way. And I watched it, I was like, oh, color me convinced.
I feel like you can apply that to a lot of things though.
I know,
Like,
but like with the Lion King 1.5, like they revealed that his like uncle speaks and his mom speak Yiddish, and his mom has a very obvious Jewish accent. And his last
Okay.
name is Berkowitz, and like it's like on the nose. It's not like I watched it and I was like, okay, like that was like. But very funny. Because the
Yeah.
writer didn't even mean to do it. I think it was more like the culmination of different funny stereotypes that connect, and then you accidentally make like a Jewish stereotype. You know?
yeah.
You could also do the same thing by doing a whole bunch of malevolent stereotypes at once. You put those all together, and it starts to become like a Jewish stereotype if you go the wrong direction with it. You know, it's not the
Yeah.
Jews' fault. That's the fact that like a lot of stereotypes are associated with Jews. You know, so.
Like what? Like I can't think of too many that
Like, okay, so you
other
could-
than that are obviously just specific to Jews.
well, if you say like, okay, there's like a evil group that rules the world.
Well, yeah,
that's
I mean-
not anti-Jewish. You could just say that, and that by itself is not anti-Semitic. But once you start to pile on things, it starts to get weirder. Like if you say, yeah, there's one group of people who rule the world, and they control the banks. Okay, so now you're getting a little bit weird. If you say both those things individually, it's not like that weird. But if you start, if you say there's a group of people that controls the world, they also control the banks, and they have a fake religion that's a lot like ours. I mean, then it's like very. It starts to get very close to, without saying it. You don't have to explicitly say it. I mean, that's how a lot of stuff gets pushed to like gateway people, like people who lurk on 4chan and try to get people to become Nazis by appealing to their edgy side. That's how they'll like do it. It's like
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, once you combine all of those, it's like almost the protocols of the elders of Zion. And it's like, well, it's very directly not great.
Yeah, I guess I don't really see those as like I don't know if that's like really a stereotype. It's more of a it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a stereotype.
It's also a stereotype.
Well, but a stereotype is something that usually is true from my end, like, or at least it comes from some level of truth. Like when when you say like black people are good at sports, there's a reason that's a stereotype. You know what I mean? Because there's a historical context to that, and that's a lot of people's experience.
Yeah, but
So
black people aren't better at sports than
they're not.
other people.
There's a reason that stereotype exists, though, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
It's
but wouldn't the reason be like wrong if it's not true?
but it's not something that's like you're theorizing about them. It's you're making a generalization. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. It's kind of different. It's
I mean,
like
no,
if
the reason
I say the government is all lizard people, that's not a stereotype.
well, yeah, because there's no who are you stereotyping? Lizard people?
The government would be the ones being stereotyped as lizard people. But
Yeah.
that's the same thing.
That's like a bad
Is-
straw man. That's like not a good
I don't know how.
analogy.
Isn't that kind of similar to the Jew thing?
No, because that's actually a stereotype that they've been associated with. If it wasn't a stereotype that they were associated with, the Holocaust wouldn't have happened. Because the reason why the Holocaust happened was they were able to like convince a bunch of people that a stereotype that they were already associated with was true, and that was that all the ultimate power in the world was the Jews. It's like a literal racial stereotype, and it's a really dumb one that doesn't really make sense in modern contexts. But I mean, it is a stereotype.
Yeah, I guess. And
And I mean, lizard people are stereotyped as controlling the government.
yeah, well, and that's why I use that as an example. That's why I don't know why you're saying that's a dumb straw man, because it is
But
a similar.
it is kinda-
It's just a more extreme example of the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, even if we were to take that dumb straw man,
How's that a dumb straw? A straw man is something that isn't the same, but you're pretending it is.
no, a straw man is a weak version of someone's argument.
No, a
Taking
straw
someone's
man is
argument and
a
putting it
straw
in-
man is when you misrepresent somebody's argument.
Yeah, to make a weaker version of it. But I could take your argument and I could do a weak example, or I could steel man it and make a better example, like a good example to argue.
But using a more extreme example to make a point isn't a straw man.
Yeah, it is.
That's not.
Yeah, if it makes it ridiculous, if it's like an ad absurdum, I would call it a straw man. At least like colloquially.
I think you got it.
Yeah, did I get it?
I think you got it. Yeah.
I don't know. Because the important thing about a straw man is it has to be like a worse version of my argument, right? That's like
No,
the thing
but-
you're trying to say when you say someone is making a straw
No,
man.
a straw man is like if you say, let me try to think of an example. Like if I'm trying to argue, if I'm trying to argue that when one person says, I like Chinese more than pizza, and the respondent says, well, you must hate pizza, they have created a straw man. Perfect example. Yeah. So if I say I like rap music more than rock music, and then you're like, oh, so you don't like rock music? That's a straw man. It is not at all what I said, but you're trying to pretend it is. That's what a straw man is.
That's like a shit example of a straw man.
No, that's literally.
But that's not how most people are going to
We
use
just
a straw
Googled
man.
it, bro.
Most people are going to use a straw man like, okay, you say, I don't like Chinese food. Well, I think Chinese food is better than American food. So then I'll be like, oh, so you think cat is better than cheeseburgers? That's a straw man. Because it's taking your argument and making a worse example. One that's disagreeable, but it's still your argument.
But those things aren't related at all. I don't understand.
Well, one's American food and one is Chinese food. Like, I mean, I'm joking, but I mean, obviously.
Yeah, that went over my head.
Is that going to get me canceled?
Yeah. You just got this whole podcast
I
canceled.
I thought people in China eat cats. Is that not true?
I don't know if that's true. Actually, I don't know.
Well, I feel bad if it's a racial stereotype.
I don't know if they, I know they eat dogs in China. I don't know if they eat cats.
Maybe that's the bad part. Maybe that's the bad thing.
But
I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
But no, like a straw man is when you misrepresent somebody's argument. So yeah, like I say, I don't like Mexican food as much as I like Italian food, and you're like, so you don't like Mexican food?
I understand that that's also a straw man.
No, but that's the best example of a straw man.
But I'm telling you that nobody does that. Like
people do that all the time.
Well, nobody does that who are actually arguing in good faith. That's what I'm talking about. Like,
well, you don't use a straw man if you're arguing in good faith. That's the point.
I think you could use a straw man in good faith.
It's a subconscious dishonesty. That's what logical fallacies are. You're subconsciously being dishonest.
Yeah, so you could do that in good faith. You could subconsciously.
It's not really in good faith if you're subconsciously lying.
You're not doing it.
But the bad faith is subconscious. You know what I mean? Like,
well, still, but at the same time, it's still.
So you don't realize what your actual intention is.
So what is this? What does like it actually mean if it doesn't matter whether you like if you can accidentally be bad faith? That doesn't really make sense. Because good faith just means you're trying your hardest, right? Like you're trying your hardest to actually engage and understand the argument. So you could also. But
if you're subconsciously not though, because this is what a lot of people do, like in debates where they honestly do think that they're being like honest and open.
Yeah.
And but they're not. And so that's when they start making these logical fallacies like straw mans and stuff like that, because deep down they're not actually trying to argue in good faith. They think they are, but it's subconsciously them being dishonest because they're just trying to win the argument. That's what most people do in arguments, I think.
I think maybe at that point it's a semantic argument. Semantic argument as well.
But I just think if you're subconsciously being dishonest, I don't think you're arguing in good faith. You may think you are, but I don't think you are.
Well, I think good faith is just a matter of being at least caring about your argument, not really, because I feel like bad faith is when you don't actually care and when you'll say whatever as long as it's meant to like throw the other person off, and you'll directly contradict yourself and stuff like that.
Well, that's kind of that's what logical fallacies are doing usually, is like that's what you're subconsciously doing.
Yeah, but you could do a logical fallacy that's like good natured with good intentions that isn't bad faith. It's just you being dumb, right? Like it could just be you being wrong.
I guess, yeah, sure. They do eat cats in China, by the way.
Okay.
So
that's right. Ding, 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 ding.
But not necessarily.
Do air horns for Bradley during this entire part.
Still very insensitive. Let's be clear. Just because something is true doesn't make it not insensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably wasn't a good but also I was doing an example of someone doing a bad example. So it's a good example if it's someone doing a bad example and I mentioned it. So actually it was perfectly reasoned.
Yeah. No, I mean what you did was a straw man. It just
I feel like that's
it's not the most classic, it's not the most obvious example of a straw man. And because of the little joke in there that went over my head, it kind of threw me off at first because I didn't understand what you were saying at first. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, well, I think
how are those things related?
Because most people aren't trying to jump down your throat and say something crazy. They're hearing what you're saying and they're trying to rationalize it with what they know.
I think
so. They're hearing you say, "Oh, everybody who did a nonviolent offense should be released from prison," and so their straw man is, "Oh, you want to release everybody who's stolen. You want to release all the thieves out on the street." Yeah. Well, like that's a straw man, right?
Yeah. Well, like you remember when I got into like a huge debate with Jeremy because I said that I think in a truly free country, if you were to open up your business, like your own business on your own property, and you were a racist, you do have the right to be racist and to to not serve people based off of that. And he was like, oh, so you think people shouldn't serve black people? I was like, no.
No, you were like doing the libertarian argument.
Yeah, well, and I think that is true. I mean, if you do own the place, you do have the right to be a dick. I don't think that's the right thing to do.
I think if you own a building,
and I don't think you should have a business if you're going to be that way.
Well, I think you have a building. If you have a building that's on a public road in a city, and you were born in a public hospital, you shouldn't be allowed to not serve anybody because society gave to you without you doing anything in return, and so you have to give back by serving black people. Sorry, you were given a public road. You have to serve black people now.
I said on your property, though. If you have a business on your own property,
yeah, but businesses are also on public roads. Like if you're saying if a business was on your private property off a private road in like the middle of nowhere, you could not serve black people.
Well, I mean, if you have a lot of land with a business on it, I mean, that land is yours, right?
No. Well, I mean, in a sense that you were a part of society and you were given these things because you were part of society. You can't like break the rules of society with the power you were given by society, you know.
I feel like that's more of a philosophical, like.
I think it's pretty like it's looking at the material conditions of the society.
Yeah, but that's not actually the law, is it?
Well, the law is you're just violating someone's civil rights. They don't really think about it in like a logic debate bro type of way like that. No.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Like the way I just said it. No, they don't think about that. They just say it's a violation of someone's civil rights.
If it's your own business on your own property and you don't serve somebody just because you don't like their skin color or something like that, that would be illegal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that is illegal.
I don't know about that.
States, yeah.
I definitely think it's wrong. I would have to look up if it's actually illegal.
Yeah, that's unconstitutional. The Civil Rights Act says no to that.
But, well, elaborate.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I don't know much about law, man. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to law.
I don't think so. I don't think you're acting like that. I'm just saying, like that's something people try to do was argue that same thing.
But the point I was trying to make originally is I was just making an argument for libertarianism.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
And he took that as me saying
you're pro-segregationist.
Yeah, exactly. And that was an extreme straw man. And that I think that's kind of the example you were saying that like people don't usually do, but people do. That was a good example of it. You know what I mean? Like if you say something somebody doesn't.
But that's a perfect example of a straw man where he did still use your same argument. He just took it in the worst faith and the most disagreeable fashion. And I feel like that's a better example of the type of straw man that's actually used rather than like here's the definition of a straw man. I feel like in arguments is actually used in a way where like, okay, let me think of an example for that, but this is an example that everybody will hate and disagree with, you know, and thus make your argument look bad. When steel manning would be like, here, let me make an example of your argument that sounds good and argue against that because it's like in good faith at that point. I'm arguing against the harder thing to argue against rather than the getting the cheap shot in there. Because anybody can take that with any type of argument and reduce it down to like a straw man, like shitty type of attack, you know, like with anything.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the thing about a straw man is it's so easy to do accidentally even.
Yeah. This is from the source in Shurion blog. Can you refuse a customer based off race? Well, can you refuse the right does your business have the right to refuse service to customers? Yada yada. You can refuse service to customers based off of like bullshit. Like you could be like, hey, if you're no shoes, don't fucking come in my restaurant. You do that. But anything that's considered a protected class. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 forbids discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin in public accommodations. So
that's on a in a privately owned business.
Well, any business would be under Title VII of that federal law. No business is allowed to turn away a customer based on their status as a member of one of these protected groups. Based on recent rulings, sexual orientation and gender identity are now also federally protected classes. So, businesses count under the public, under a public service accommodation. There's like, no, that's not. It's a business isn't the same as having a house. Basically, they're like, no, fuck you. It's a business.
Well, I guess that was my misunderstanding at the time.
Is that a house?
Is that I was thinking of it as like property is property. And that's how I was thinking of it. And I mean, you do have the right to be racist in your own home, right?
Yeah.
So like that's how I was thinking.
You
about
refuse someone from going into your house based on
exactly, yeah. So that's how I was thinking about it. And again, I don't want to agree with that. Like, that's horrible, obviously. Yeah. But I was trying to make the argument for like, okay, if this is a free country, you should have the right to be racist. It's not okay, but you shouldn't be like in a free country. You wouldn't be arrested.
Be discriminated against based off your race.
No, you should be discriminated against, but in a free country, you wouldn't be arrested for being racist. Yeah. That was the whole point I was trying to make at the time. But the straw man was like, oh, so you're racist. Yeah. So you agree with racism. I'm like, no.
Especially when he knows that isn't true.
No, for damn sure. But that's what people do when they're being intellectually dishonest in an argument.
Yeah. But I think if Jeremy were to say he was arguing in good faith, he would just be lying. Like intentionally. I don't think.
I just double hit that, I think.
That's okay.
I hate being the one in the middle because you have to keep track of which way it's going. Yeah. And it's still recording.
Yeah, recently the Supreme Court did rule in favor of a lady who said she didn't want to bake cakes for gay people.
And it ruled in her favor because it was her own business, like, or what? There's no way that was in like a fucking.
It's the Supreme Court, and they've been doing a lot of bullshit. So
true.
Businesses usually fail shortly after.
What?
I said those businesses usually fail shortly after.
Yeah, well, unless they get that dirty conservative money. Sometimes,
yeah, I guess depends on where they're located.
Yeah, they'll get like funds from fucking.
Like you do just fine here.
Yeah,
you do just fine here. If you could put a sign on your door that said "No gays allowed," and you would do just fine in this area. It's horrible, but it's the truth.
You know the submarine that got imploded?
Yeah, of course.
There's an ad. They did an ad 2 months ago. Let me show it to you. We'll pretend like the computer's while you're watching it, and I'll put my phone right there.
I don't know why the computer's being so whack today.
My phone won't connect to the Wi-Fi.
Really?
Mine isn't either.
Yeah, I mentioned that you've been having that problem. Is it still not doing it?
It's still saying connection failed. And I've like.
Did you try resetting your router today?
No, but I mean it's
You should probably do that.
it's connected to my phone.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, you're paying for a whole
Yeah.
You're getting a piece of it. Oceangate Titanic trip.
I'm surprised there's not more fireworks going on.
I keep tolerating this. Yeah, I heard a couple, but not too many.
We don't have a fire ban this year, right?
With the price of just
That
about
I know.
everything inflating these days, you may want
They usually do. Like on the sides of the.
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
Yesterday we went down in Cyclops. It was so cool to be in the sub as the water was bubbling up around it. It was pretty tense to be in a little tube with 5 people about to go hundreds of feet under the water. And as soon as that water started gurgling up around us, I totally chilled out. And it was really peaceful. Just watching the light change was very cool. It took a lot of skill navigating this sub to get a nice visual because a lot of current, a lot of movement.
This isn't as much as I thought it was. It's like a weird short form ad. No, it's not it either. No. There it is.
Expeditions offers you the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a specially trained crew member safely diving into the Titanic wreckage site. Get ready for what Jules Verne calls now a 12,500-foot journey to the bottom of the sea. It's the Oceangate Titanic experience. Earning raves from those who've taken our unforgettable dives.
There's no other trip like this. Fewer people have been to Titanic than have been to space.
It's tougher to go to the bottom of the ocean than it is to the far side of the moon. We saw things that maybe human eyes have never seen before.
Wow.
This is not a thrill ride for tourists. It's much more. It is an 8-day, one-of-a-kind experience. You will be trained as a mission specialist and record valuable findings.
A citizen scientist is also involved in the science. They are doing jobs that are essential to the scientific
As I gave
research,
you
not just
weird
busy
busy
work. We are looking at the process of degradation at the site. We are trying
And
to
their
make
science is looking
a
at how
really
much
good
it
map
can
of the site and its current state.
which is
This
just
is not
very
tourism.
touristy.
You're contributing. It's not a ride at Disney. You know, there's a lot of real risk involved, and there's a lot of challenges.
We partnered with aerospace experts at the University of Washington, NASA, and Boeing on the design of our hull.
Every time you take to the sea, there's so many things that have to go right. All the electrical systems and navigation systems that have to check out. This is a very complex vehicle.
Titan's outside, you are out at 130 meters. You are in position.
It's very well engineered and very safe. The team is very focused on safety first.
The communication is really key. I think knowing that they never lost communication. Not 1 second of me experiencing anything from Oceangate have I ever felt unsafe.
See how many times they mentioned safety in that 30-second span?
Get to dive down
At no
the
point of time,
Titanic with a
throughout
full
any point of time,
experience.
I ever felt unsafe walking in this.
It begins with boarding day at
Well, then you're just a
St. John's.
psychopath. Like the whole thing isn't safe.
Well, they're both trying to make it sound dangerous and safe. Like you won't die, but you'll feel a little dangerous. And this thing fucking killed 6 people.
6? I thought it was 5.
Safety checks, reviewing
Was
assignments.
it 5?
I keep hearing 5. Unless they,
Comes the pre-launch briefing.
I don't know.
people.
Sometimes they misreport at first.
Inside the surface vessel
I thought
is
it was
Command
5.
Central.
Either way, I mean, 1 is too many, you know.
Well, the guy who killed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, okay, 2 is too many.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I've
There was like an article came out about like the 6th dude or something. And he backed out.
Oh, yeah, that's
Last
probably
minute.
what
There's
you're
supposed to
thinking
be a
of.
6th guy on
There
it.
was a guy who backed out, yeah.
He's like, this thing's fucking creaking. Let me out.
He's making weird noises. I
Oh,
don't know.
be able to. That's
Fuck that shit.
sort of dramatic in front of me
too
playing out.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not a real submarine. You're like in a fucking, like a little capsule.
Yeah.
Like,
Look at that fucking thing. And yeah, unfortunately, one of the victims of this murder, his wife, him and his son were the ones who died on that sub. And his wife was on the boat doing stupid fucking busy work.
With experts like Commander Paul Henri Nargelet, leader of 30 dives to the Titanic wreck site.
and so many people told the dude, like,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea. This is dangerous.
Like a whole bunch of scientists got together and wrote like a letter to him. Like, it was like a whole bunch of diving people. And this was created after all of that. There's like public information that this place was wrapped in scandals at the time of this commercial. That's why they're emphasizing that it's safe so much and bringing in like
Yeah, well, it's like damage control before there was even damage yet, you know? Like, it's wild.
It's very unsettling.
Yeah,
You have
it's,
to say it that many times. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
If I was like about to get on a roller coaster and I heard the word safe like 3-4 times before getting on, I'd be like, okay, I'm out.
You know what I think would be a really good sketch? Is like people being like, the alligator log boat ride is perfectly safe. Like the whole commercial is about the alligator log boat ride and how nobody's ever gotten lost on the alligator log boat ride and how no alligators have ever eaten anybody on the alligator log boat ride and how the alligator log boat ride is
and then
perfectly
this
safe.
time
And that's just the whole
me.
commercial. Like it's just very like what happened on the fucking ride? Why did you
Yeah.
do this?
Was the dream come true. But as I look back, this will no doubt be.
Like hopefully this thing's safe. You're advertising to people. Why do you have to say that so much?
Join us on our next
Yeah.
expedition.
It's the thing, you shouldn't even have to say it. If you keep saying it, it's like,
That's so dark.
what'd they say? I missed that.
Join us in our next here. It was like, join us in our next voyage and we'll make it. You don't want to miss the chance to make history. It's so funny because they really
You
actually
definitely
did
made history,
make
just
history, yeah.
not in the way you wanted. Dangerous situations as a teenager if I looked up to you. So I can't fault a teenager. The adults were very irresponsible.
Yeah.
You should know better. You should look at that thing. You should look at the situation. You should look at the guy and the people telling
Well,
him.
and I think the main guy is the most irresponsible.
Yeah, obviously. But you need to, like, if you're going to go on something like that, you need to look at what you're doing. You need to look, you know what I mean? You don't just go on that shit, just fucking willy-nilly, like it's like you're carpooling to the fucking park or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a this is a big thing. It's a big deal. You're getting on a submarine.
Thousands and thousands of pounds of pressure. Like,
It's unbelievably deep. Like, you can't even comprehend as a human how deep
it's
that
like
you're trying to go.
4,000 meters.
It's
like,
insane.
That's
It's really insane. I don't know how you think that's a good idea. You know, like, and I'm not trying to fucking
a lot
talk
of
too much
people
shit on the
just
people
really
who died.
like the
but-
Titanic too.
yeah,
A lot of people just really like the Titanic.
yeah. A lot of people really like the Titanic, and it's a
I thought the movie
cultural
was okay.
symbol.
Well, I thought it was okay.
The movie,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie, sure. It's a little too long for my taste.
My life to watch to look at the actual thing.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a really good example of how we as humans almost fetishize like the worst things.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's true crime or it's disasters like this, we obsess over it, and it just leads to more harm in the end. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. There's something wrong with us.
We've been getting these Temu commercials.
Yes.
Fucking Temu,
And
bro.
ads all
This
over
seems so
like
weird
Facebook.
and fake. Like Temu would just take all of your money and not give you anything. It's so
I have a
simple.
friend that has gotten stuff from them.
What about the
It makes me
switches?
like
The
it.
switches seem like a lie. They say that they give you switches for like $1. It can't be true.
I don't know if it was Temu, but I got an ad. I'll have to see. I took a screenshot of it. I got an ad for a Game Station 5. It was fucking hilarious. I was like, what the fuck, man?
See, here's the end.
Next expedition. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of history. The Oceangate Titanic experience. There's truly nothing else like it.
Fucking insane.
It was Temu. Game Station 5.
Like, what is that?
It's like,
What?
I'll show it to the camera.
See, that's what we need to do.
Game Station 5.
For an episode, we need to buy like $20 of stuff on Temu and be like, this is what we ordered and this is what we got.
Says 8-bit USB dual plug and play AV output TV video game.
Like, what could that possibly mean? Like, you plug it in and you can play Echo the Dolphin?
Maybe you can play Pong on it. Like it looks like such a fake thing. Like it looks like something you just put together with plastic and it doesn't actually work. You know, like a toy.
Yeah, it looks like a modem.
Yeah.
Isn't Lent the time of the, like, you have to fast during Lent? What is Lent?
Something like that. What is it Lent right now?
Well, I'm just thinking,
What?
like, in Soylent Green, do they think Soylent because soy mixed with the word for fasting? Like you're fasting, soy fasting?
I never thought of that. Let me look that up. Oh shit! Yeah.
Was that right?
Those ages 18 to 59 in reasonable health are required to fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. Those 14 and older must abstain from meat on Fridays during Lent.
Oh, because they're abstaining from meat. Soy Lent.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Fucking connecting all sorts of dots.
Connecting.
And I like when I connect dots and they don't turn out to be completely unhinged. You know, like.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do a video about Bell Systems because, like, it was like Alexander Graham Bell, his company that he created, ended up controlling all of, like, the telecommunications industry in America. Like, it was the one company that controlled all the telephone poles, all the phones, controlled the manufacturers that made the phones. And it was broken up in the 90s, and that's what made Verizon, AT&T, every, like, single phone company that's really big now are pieces of what used to be Bell Systems. It's just really funny. Really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it sucks because I have another whole ass iPhone. And I just, I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
It can't connect to any wireless things. Anything wireless.
What do you mean?
Like you can't connect to Wi-Fi. On an iPhone, they can't connect to Wi-Fi, can't activate or really do anything. Yeah. How dumb is that?
That's pretty fucking dumb.
How friggin' gay is that?
That's so gay.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna get
super
canceled
gay.
in the second episode.
Queer. That's what that is. Yeah. I mean, most of the gay people I've met actually joke about, like, make gay jokes and shit a lot too. So,
Well, yeah.
I mean, I haven't met too many gay people, but like the ones I have met are pretty open about like that kind of shit, you know.
Well, just like all the black people I know are comfortable doing black jokes, but should we do black jokes?
I guess that's true.
Should we do
It's a
black
very
jokes?
good point. Very good point.
Yeah,
Says the guy who started making gay jokes first.
but I'm allowed to
Why?
because I'm bi, which means I'm half gay. And if you're half black, you can make black jokes. Yeah.
Okay, but
Impenetrable law.
is bi half gay or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Or is it its own thing?
No, it's half gay.
Oh, but
It's
like,
like being like when you're a half vampire. Do you know who Blade is? This is gonna be a good TikTok clip. Keeping character.
I don't know if it is if you cut to point it out.
I'll cut that out. I'll cut that part out. That was a
But-
TikTok clip, actually. Cut it. Cut it. What about Blade?
Blade is pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know much about Blade.
Bi people are the Blade of the LGBTQ.
Okay, but like,
Third most important in the LGBTQ hierarchy. Because we know that the letters are arranged by importance.
oh,
Yeah. It's L's at the top,
of course.
G's under the L's. They work for the L's, but they're like the enforcers.
They're the G's. They're, you know,
and then
they do the
B's,
G work.
B's are the gentry. T's are the lower class. Unfortunately, I didn't design the structure. But yeah, it's a hierarchy.
I guess that makes sense. It actually does make a lot of sense. Like, if you actually think about the, like, society's attitudes towards each group.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Lesbians a lot more. And bi people aren't usually acknowledged as existing.
Either that or they're seen as like whores. Like people are that
Yeah,
just want to
that's
sleep
true.
with everyone.
That's true.
So, I mean, you might be onto something here. Is that why it's in that order? Why is it not TBGL or GBLT?
Exactly.
Huh?
And Q is at the very end to include all the straight people that also want it to be in there.
And then plus for all the other letters that we have a hard time keeping track of because there's quite a few of them in there,
I don't know.
isn't
I
there?
think they have plus to be safe, but I don't.
Yeah, to be safe.
There's
Because
I and A.
I and A.
Who else? Doesn't
I
that
guess.
cover everybody? I mean,
Yeah, that's about
there
it.
are xenogenders, but
Yeah, so there's Z's.
X.
There's Z's.
X.
Oh, X. X. X is, there's
Oh,
probably Z's too,
QIX.
though, right? There probably are
Well,
Z's.
what is a Z?
I don't know.
No.
No, you don't think?
no.
We'll just throw Z in there to be safe, though. You know, just to be safe. I don't know. I guess
This is sounding awful close to a homophobic joke, probably.
I didn't say anything about.
I don't know.
I don't know how is that
I'm clipping this for TikTok.
Flip it
That's
for
your
TikTok.
reaction. That's your reaction.
TikTok the fuck out of this.
Do you think it'll be good TikTok clips? Good
Probably
TikTok
not.
material?
But, well, I mean-
I don't watch TikTok. I'm just gonna upload it.
TikTok, dude, this dumbest shit is on TikTok, dude. You can put
Shit,
anything on
right?
it.
So we can put our,
Doesn't fucking matter.
start back and forth. Our
This
banter,
this clip right here would actually be a pretty good TikTok clip,
right?
honestly.
Yeah.
So
And we can put a caption, listen to this before you die. And like play some light piano in the background to make it.
If you've, I don't think you've ever been on TikTok, but on TikTok, there's this like computer, like female voice that is on like every video. It's the same voice.
I know what you're talking about.
Just to have that.
Listen to this before you die. And this is like the dumbest fucking shit, dude. That would be good.
That would be great.
That would be good. See, that's what it's about. Really, you don't even have to make a good product. You just have to make a good 30-minute segments within a product.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at now, and where like the internet is, because nobody, except for podcast listeners, are watching anything more than like 30 seconds long.
I'm gonna try to free do this. It's way freakier. It's way freakier.
But it works way better because you can, get the right
but you don't
angle.
know where it's coming from. I mean, you don't know when it's gonna hit. Exactly. Like it's like you don't know when it's gonna hit.
Yeah,
You know where it's coming from.
a little freaky.
Have you watched any stuff for Starfield? Did you watch E3?
No, I've heard people talking about it. I haven't even like heard what people are saying because I don't know.
This seems like it's gonna be like it's like what everybody guessed in the first 10 seconds. It's just like a Bethesda version of No Man's Sky.
So what does that mean?
So there are going to be like, I'm guessing 3 or 4 major cities, and then a bunch of small little villages on certain planets, and then I think it's 90% of planets are uninhabited. So then, and if there are 1,000 planets, 90% of them are uninhabited, and 100 planets that are habited, I think there are going to be 4 planets with actual cities on them, and there are probably going to be like maybe 30 or 40 planets with like small settlements on them, and then planets with just animals, and then the rest are going to be like this dumb mining planets. Let's talk about something else.
I mean, so is it like
Because No Man's Sky isn't really like a combat based game.
Did you play Fallout?
Yeah, so it's good. It's like Fallout in
It's like
space.
Fallout in space.
See, I feel like that would
Fallout mixed with No Man's
Okay.
Sky.
See, I feel like that would have been a better, because I was imagining something more like Fallout, but then you had me imagining something closer to No Man's Sky there for a second, but
It's more
yeah,
like it'll be more like No Man's Sky and the mechanic of having the ship and going to places to mine. And having a galaxy to explore and like leaving the planets and going to the planets and shit. Like all of that's basically a clone. It's like a No Man's Sky's like, but with Fallout 4 mechanics, basically.
okay.
Are you excited for that?
Is this what platforms is it on?
All of them.
All of them? Okay. Yeah, man. Might be cool. I don't know.
Did you ever go back and play No Man's Sky after it got better?
I didn't really play it. I just went on the like exploration mode and kind of like looked around, looked at some planets and shit. I didn't play the because I was like, I don't want to like invest a bunch of time like actually playing the game.
It
With its
seemed like
actual
all
mechanics.
the stuff they were bragging about in the Starfield commercial, they were like exclusively like No Man's Sky mechanics beforehand. Like they're like, you can build settlements on any planet, and it just like shows like a building thing that looks almost exactly like how No Man's Sky put together their buildings.
Like just like a little building
Yeah,
with
except
like
it's nicer.
some
They're
like terminals
pods,
or whatever.
pods that connect to each other.
Yeah.
So it's like they're really trying to say that they didn't rip them off, but they totally fucking did. And the least they could do is be like, yeah, we took inspiration from No Man's Sky and we decided to make our own.
Do you think you have to say that when you make a game that's clearly inspired by something else? Like if you make a GTA clone, do you have to say that, oh, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
You think so?
You should. At
Does a
least
game
watch
like
it.
Watch
I think
Dogs
if
have
you
to
made-
say like?
If you made Saints Row, for example, and someone was just like, "This is a lot like GTA," and they were just like, "No fucking isn't. What are you talking about?" I'd be very off-putting.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to advertise it as such. Like,
No, but every time you mention that it's like No Man's Sky, they're like, "No, it isn't."
so they're denying it, is what you're saying.
I don't know if they explicitly did.
Okay, I don't know how to feel about this then, because like if they're denying it, then yeah, I think that's bullshit. I think you should be open about where your inspiration comes from, but I don't think you need to openly like advertise it as such, because I mean every game is inspired by another game. Every game is inspired by GTA 3, basically. Basically every single game that comes out now is inspired by GTA 3. So I mean, it's hard to draw the line of like where do you? I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just too much of a gray area. But I think if your game is clearly very inspired off of another franchise, people are pointing that out, you shouldn't be denying it.
Oh, Starfield doesn't do seamless planetary landings.
Boo.
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 That's so fucking lame. That's
How you gonna do-
2015 shit?
I can't. Oh man, that's like making an open world game, but every like section of the city has a loading screen. You know what I mean? Like you have to. Like, I don't know. That's lame as fuck.
I don't think anybody. People are just saying, arguing over whether this is a clone. It's obviously a clone.
So I
But
think that's
to the
something the
extent-
company just probably won't acknowledge.
Yeah, they probably don't want to like be like.
Which is understandable. You don't, I mean, as a company, you don't want to draw attention to another franchise too much. I mean, you're trying to advertise your own shit. But I think you should be proud of where your inspiration comes from. Like a game like Saints Row or Watch Dogs should absolutely be proud of like their roots in being a GTA clone.
No Man's Sky is the exact type of thing that would like inspire like really amazing games.
Yeah, because No Man's Sky is a one of a kind, like original game. It's a GTA 3 of its era. You know what I mean? Straight up. Like when GTA 3 came out, it revolutionized every game. Was like, oh shit, that's how you do it. That's how we need to do it. Every fucking game. Like, okay, I know you're not going to know anything about this, but I grew up on PS2, right? So Jack and Daxter was like one of the most iconic PS2 games.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah, the first game was like a open world Crash Bandicoot kind of game. But then like, I think the same year that game came out, GTA 3 came out. So for the sequel, they were like, okay, let's make this like a GTA clone. Completely fucking rebuilt the entire way the game is played, the entire fucking way the world
So it was
is.
supposed to be a GTA clone,
Huh?
but it wasn't. It was supposed to be a GTA clone, but it
I mean,
wasn't.
they say it and like they talk about it openly. Like,
Like,
that's
in
where
the
their
making
inspiration. They saw GTA 3 and how big it was, and they were like, okay, we want to do that.
So let's make the exact genre of game this is.
No, I mean it's still its own. It's an original thing, but it's clearly inspired
it's the
by.
exact same genre of game, but it's a different story concept, all that stuff.
No, it's not even the exact same kind of genre of game because it's still a platformer like Crash Bandicoot and shit.
Oh, okay.
But it's set in an open world city, and you can like kill people and
Mm-hmm.
steal cars and shit. So imagine Crash Bandicoot, fucking that kind of game, but then you mix it with GTA 3. Like, but what I'm saying is like, because it was the first time that anybody saw a game like that.
They saw the technology.
And they were like, what the fuck? And it blew everybody's minds.
Yeah.
And No Man's Sky did the same thing back in 2015 or whenever that came out.
Yeah.
Because nobody had ever seen something like that. It was mind blowing. So of course there's going to be games trying to copy that, you know? And I don't think they'd necessarily have to say it, but
If they're asked about it, they definitely should admit it.
I think ultimately the game will be fun for like 40 hours. You know,
It sounds like that kind of game, but I feel like that way about No Man's Sky too. So, I mean, I don't even think I played it for
I mean,
that
I
many
felt that
hours.
way about Fallout 4. I only played it for like 40 hours, and I was pretty bored with it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of games were that way too. So, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with your attention span
And I
too.
think that's the problem about advertising a game is so big, is because the average attention span for a game can't be that big, you know? Like, it seems like you're catering to someone who's going to only want to play this game for like the next few years.
Well, games are catering more and more towards game addicts, and that's very clear with the microtransactions, the littering the map with little tiny objectives that really are meaningless to the story and aren't actually that fun to do, but it triggers that fucking addictive part of your brain that just wants to do more and more of what you're doing.
That's true.
That little dopamine hit.
That's true.
And it's clearly designed that way.
It's like all tokenized and whatnot.
Yeah. And
and that's basically what they're trying to do with this. They're like, hey, explore all these planets, because even if we didn't do much with it, you might get a little bit of a dopamine spike every time you go to one.
Yeah. And that's what that is. And even if it's not that interesting, you go to a planet and it's like, okay, there's some animals here, and like in No Man's Sky, people will still be like, okay, well, but what's the next planet like?
Yeah,
you know, and they'll go check that one out. No, what's the next one?
You know,
like?
the hype's going to be bigger than what they can possibly deliver in a game like that.
Yeah, it's
people are going to be disappointed as fuck, even though you shouldn't be, because like the reason why you're setting yourself up for disappointment is because like you're a dick who's like defending the game without ever playing it, You're getting your hopes all up because you're like out here like in the streets fucking fighting people over whether or not it's a fucking No Man's Sky clone. It's a No Man's Sky clone. It might be good. It might be bad.
It may not be an exact clone, but it's clearly like clearly what it is. I mean, I could tell. I didn't even look that much into it. I could just tell from like what I saw that that's what it was trying to do.
I mean, it's pretty much everything you can do short of buying the IP. You know?
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, again, No Man's Sky is a really cool game to try to emulate. Like,
but expect it to have the same limitations that No Man's Sky has.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that it's a normal sized game in a huge fucking world.
It's too ambitious. I remember when No Man's Sky came out, and the hype was unreal. Like what people were expecting was so unrealistic looking back, like because like people were like, oh shit, this is a simulated universe. Fucking like you go to planets and there's gonna be fucking aliens there and shit. And yeah, okay, but it's so basic.
It's
it's not that interesting.
It's like actually this sounds a lot cooler in my head.
I was playing the last time I played No Man's Sky. I was on this planet and there were these creatures that like it completely took me out of the game because they were like these big, bulky, like fat hooved creatures with little tiny wings flying around. It made no sense. It was clearly physically impossible and not something that would ever exist in nature anywhere.
Well, that's what this game will have on No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky was a small crew working with their limited technology.
And just kind of mashing assets
they were creating
together.
A procedurally generated world with procedurally generated animals with assets that were not like they didn't think about like, oh, maybe something that's really big shouldn't have wings that are really tiny. There should be like
because they didn't have somebody making that decision.
Yeah. Well, the procedurally generated just means it's following an algorithm when it's generating things. So that should be a rule in the code, is that those wings shouldn't go on that body, but that small team doesn't have the time to do something like that. But I'm sure the people in No Man's Sky are Starfield are gonna pay better attention to that. I mean, even in the pre-trailer stuff, they showed some pretty convincing animals. But so did No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I was gonna say No Man's Sky. I mean, they obviously cherry picked the very good-looking ones.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, it was the dinosaurs, and people were like, "Okay, that's dope. I want to go to a red planet with dinosaurs on it. That's cool." Of course, it is. But that's not what most of them are like. Most of the planets are like rock planets, and the ones with life on it, it's like weird, wacky shit like that. Like
It's like giraffes with little baby wings.
Yeah, like,
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
yeah, or little blobs that just
Yeah.
hop around with weird eyes all over it.
I had like one genuinely good interaction in No Man's Sky where I went into a cave and I was attacked by a whole bunch of little bug like trilobite things, and it was fucking terrifying.
like
They
straight
had,
out of like a Rick and Morty
noise.
episode or something.
Yeah, and they were like shelled things with little fucked up looking legs. That was the only time I ever felt like immersed in that game, and it was for a short period of time.
Honestly, the only time, the most immersed I ever felt in that game was just flying, like, off of a planet or onto a planet, or like heading towards a planet, seeing, like, okay, it says it's going to take me 7 years to get there, and then warping to it. That shit felt pretty immersive. The, like, space travel aspect of it felt really fucking good.
I honestly doubt that Starfield's going to be able to pull that off. Because I don't think they're as motivated by the little nuances of landing on a planet. I mean, we already just learned they're not going to have like a whole space to planet like.
Yeah, there's like a loading screen or some shit, or what?
I don't know. I imagine it's going to be a loading screen, like a space map, probably, where you travel to the planet. And you can
Like fucking Ratchet and Clank, where you look at a map, there's a little graph of planets, you click on it, and then it goes to a cutscene of you landing on the planet.
Either
that would be lame.
Or it'll be like, oh, you click on it and you go to the solar system. You can fly around the solar system and you go to your map of the solar system and you click on planet and land on it. That's what I'm guessing. You can go to different solar systems where like you can fly around in space and stuff, but also it's not like the whole map is space. That's my guess.
Still lame.
That's really
compared to No Man's Sky.
Yeah, because No Man's Sky is like, if you want to spend 3 days flying in that direction, you're going to get to that planet. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I like. That is the most immersive aspect of that game is the scale.
Yeah,
and how
the things are real and they stay there and they're like in this like vast space. It's fucking unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It makes me kind of want to go and play the game just to run around for a second. But I don't think Bethesda is going to put the care and comfort in something like that.
Yeah,
I think it might be a really cool story, but I think it's going to get bogged down by a lot of shit bullshit. I feel like the space stuff is actually going to take away from a lot of the because it's like a single player immersive like RPG storyline, action RPG. Like it's not supposed to be like it's going to have space sequences where you're getting fucking space battles, ship battles. And it's gonna fucking slow down the pace so much. I fucking hate ship battles in games. The last 2 Star Wars games had just too much ship battles, so I haven't played them. Except for the Jedi. I haven't played Jedi Survivor, but I played the other one, Jedi
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Still haven't played it. It's on my back catalog of so many games that I've planned on playing that I may get to. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta get everything done. What's your last words, your plugs?
Just plugging the same shit.
Yeah, you plug the same plugs every episode.
Okay, same plugs. B Deli. B dash DELLEY. Doesn't mean anything. Don't think too hard about it. That's my name on. I think that I have a Facebook page, very inactive on it, under that name.
Okay, so you're gonna send people to the inactive.
My Instagram is BDeli official, no punctuation or anything.
What about a dash?
No.
No dash.
No dash.
In the Instagram.
No dash. Yeah, YouTube, BDeli.
What's your @ on YouTube? Is it @B-Deli or @BDeli?
BDeli official.
BDeli official, no punctuation.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those two.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm more active on Instagram, as you know. I don't really do my Facebook page very much, but yeah, Instagram and YouTube. That's where I'm at.
Okay. You can find me on YouTube. I may or may not have an episode of I think I'll have a video out before I have this out. So I have videos on my channel. It's Malachi. It's at Malachi Juarez. At Beats. At Malachi Beats. And that was the Smoke Up theme song. I don't know. Like samples of saying stuff.
Like just samples of you
funny
saying
samples.
stuff?
No, people saying stuff.
People saying stuff?
Yeah. Like is there a picture? Is there a video of Ludacris talking about furries? Like something like that.
I don't know about
This podcast.
Maybe. We might talk about furries.
Okay, that's
Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. Well, we took up. Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up. Well, we took up. Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up. Well, we took up. Time to roll up. Shit. Alright, hold up. It's the smoke up.